Hi, my name's Bob Grenier and I'm a volunteer with the Martin Fleischmann Memorial Project. Hi, my name is Bob Grenier and I'm a volunteer with the Martin Fleischmann Memorial Project. So welcome to O-Day, E.T.'s Secret. It's 2nd of July 2023 and thank you for joining me, Tony Gibboni and John Weir, Alex de Castillo, Alec Wilkes. D2105K, Corky Goss is in the house, EBB, Ken Pratt is in the house. Hi, Nicolo Fliorvanti. Rhett Oracle, very good name for today. Harry the Bippo 5, Artifact, Electro AE, Louis Navarro, Paul O'Neill, and St. Martin. So great. Okay, so you can hear me. Well, let's see if you can hear this next bit. So on the 3rd of March, 2017, I was in Trivandrum having visited Suhas Ralkar. Trivandrum is the capital of Kerala and actually where my son was born. The full name in Malayali is Thiruvananthapuram. And here it is. This is my mugshot back in 2017. And I will play. I'm here at the Padmaswamy temple, and this is the safest place on earth right now. No, I'm not crazy. This is the largest gold hoard in the world. And the interesting thing is that when the British were trying to get all the Raj, all the kingdoms, to give up their rights to their land and hand them over to the superstate that became India. The King of Travancore, which is one of the 3 kingdoms of Kerala, was the very last person to sign into the Union, his lands. He agreed to never have a child, which was part of the arrangement. But he made one condition, that the temple and all of its contents, which was not known at that time, even though the Viceroy had tried in the 1920s to gain access to the vaults. The temple and all of its contents, whatever that may be, will not be part of the Indian state. So this land on which the temple is and the contents is actually the property of the god. And that's what he said, it's the property of this god. It's not his, and it can never be the state's, it's the property of the god. He didn't want to anger the god. And there are 2 snakes, I think it is, on the main vault. And they've literally found hundreds of billions of gold and gems and religious artifacts and like literally buckets of almost mint condition Roman era coins, and from trading with the Chinese and everything, they're all in here. And it has to be kept for the god according to the King of Travancore. So when you think about these in context and the fact that the king lived in a palace which was completely made of wood, it makes you wonder what these great ancient civilizations knew. Thank you. Yeah, so I was just saying that is my first look at this kind of thing, architectural-wise, with respect to potentially understanding this Lena technology. And if I just zoom on a little bit here, the actual temple itself that you can see here, if you go and look at images of it, it has 7 lightning conductors on the top.
And during this trip, I actually went to visit a friend of mine, and she has, and they have a driver who's been with them for very many years. He's got married, he's got a house. He basically lives in their house when they're living back in Australia. And I was talking to him about the various auspicious symbols and their meaning, and also a range of things. And he was saying, oh yeah, these are like in the temple and so forth, but as a non-Hindu, you couldn't go into the temple. And I was talking about these weird effects where when this energy is intense, it shuts down electronics and this sort of thing. He says, well, I've got a very strange story, and I've told this before, but he said when they started looking into these vaults, they found that they had an immense amount of treasure in there. And before they wanted to move anything out, they wanted to locate, do a 3D scan and be very, very precise about how they documented everything. So the team instructed with this was from the Vikram Space Center, which is about 12 kilometers away. It was actually very near where I lived. And they were given $5 million to do this kind of cataloging process. And they went in with laser rangefinders and 3D scanners and cameras and video cameras and everything. And none of them worked. And so they came out of the hole and they all worked again. And so they went in the vault and nothing worked again. So it was extremely weird. And what one of them noticed was this metal band that ran around the whole room. And what they actually found out, according to my friend, was that when they cut the band, all of the electronics started to work, and they could then continue with their cataloging process. So I don't think this is published anywhere other than what I've said. It was a personal communication to a very good friend that I made in India whilst I was living there. And so the Padmaswamy temple that you see here was very special to me. So it was just, as I was saying, I believe these are lightning conductors. There's 7 of them, like our Jewish candlestick. And this was the highest building for very many centuries in the whole region. And it's because of the monazite deposits that are there in Kerala. That, in my view, is part of the reason why they get such intense lightning storms. And they are mind-bogglingly intense. And that's because there's a lot of thorium there. And so that will be releasing a large amount of ionization into the air, which charges the air very, very intensively. And so I actually believe that this entire device is a charging device for the predominantly gold in there. And there were many tons of gold in the vaults. And at some point, someone would come along and collect these charged lumps of metal, predominantly gold. Okay. So the interesting thing is there's one vault that I believe has never been opened, and this is O'Day slide 51. I don't know whether I've ever shared this. I might have done or shared parts of it. But the image on the left is supposedly of Vault B door. And what the fable is that this door has no means to be opened other than by sound of a chant of a particular piece of text that can only be sung by someone who's so pious that they can't even interact with normal humans. So this is a yogi that would have gone into the jungle and become one with the universe. I've got an echo. Okay, sorry. Yeah, I don't know why. Probably now this is better. Yeah, so the guy would have to chant a mantra, but be of a level of piousness that they wouldn't actually be able to interface with ordinary human beings. And then this door would unlock. So there's no ability to open this door other than by this fable. But the story is that if this door is opened, then it will bring a cataclysm onto the earth. So they have never opened it, to the best of my knowledge. And as you can see, it has these spiral sort of is it a snake? Maybe it's a snake, but it also looks like it's a tractor beam because you have all of these 3D sculpted bodies floating up in various sort of positions of just being unable to move their limbs other than by the fact that they're floating around, almost like they're in zero gravity. You've got some that are like upside down and they're just being pulled up almost by the center of mass. You can look at them. There's one here, and so forth. Up into these grabbing arms with this kind of lizard-type, dragon-type creature up here. Okay? Now, the other thing is it has these two snakes. And the two snakes, actually, are... You have almost like a ram's horn down the bottom here. A vortex and a counter vortex, and a central line with the chevrons moving up. But you also have these two very, very distinct circular structures. And within them, there is a fleur-de-lis. Now, one could argue that this is the side cross-section of a lotus, and I think there is some relationship with Egyptian sort of mythology about the lotus, and also you get lots of associations with the lotus in Asia as well. But in Malayalam, the lotus is called Padma, and so the temple is called Lord Padmaswami Temple. So it's related to this lotus top, and that might actually be what you might call, how should we put this? It has a lot of correlations between various ancient beliefs. Now, this was very early on. So this was, I think, January 2018. I put this slide together. And what I found interesting was that there's 12 spots around this fleur-de-lis here. And I thought, like, this is for storing precious things. And over here, we have, I think it's a gold coin. And it is from the Bosnian king, Tvrtko the First, from the 14th century. And this is the reverse of the coin. But on it, you'll see the Maltese cross, which we know and love as the symbol of God-controlled power, right at the top center. And then we have fleur-de-lis, so on, around there. The actual shield here has a whole bunch of fleur-de-lis on it. So we have a lot of fleur-de-lis. Like the English crown, it has a series of fleur-de-lis coming off the top of the crown. But also, what I found very interesting was these features that seem to go all the way around, and there's 12 of them around the outside. This number 12. We've got number 12 here, we've got number 12 here. And if you could imagine these fleur-de-lis are these kind of sort of like fleur-de-lis structures here, and they are pointing in, then if in the center, this is effectively energizing the king. This king is the center of power. Are these fleur-de-lis here the representations of the two fleur-de-lis here, of the two vortex? Maybe, don't know. This snake is facing one way, this snake is facing the other. Okay. So is this the kind of same representation? So this is like much older, I understand, than this. Not totally sure about that, but this is certainly 14th century. But it's kind of pointing in. Like you had a regularized structure around the outside, and then you've got another line here and another line here. Anyway, I found that this structure looked remarkably like the Neil Gould Acc lions paw print, which is the symbol of my remoteview.icu blog. And also the birdie fits in there from the Russian work on the magnetotor electrical radiation. And this actual sphere here is from the work of John Hutchison. Again, this is a John Hutchison structure in our large sample, which we hopefully will be able to have a look at in more detail moving forward. But really, it is this combination of the Maltese cross and the fleur-de-lis, or lotus. And you will have seen also the lotus from the top in many pieces of art. So you've got the circle there, circle there, circle there, circle there. And effectively, that is almost like the Maltese cross in its own right, if you've got the inverse piece here, inverse piece here. So anyway, all right. So I got very interested in the fact that, like, maybe there was some knowledge of this because of what's on this coin in Bosnia. So I did a bit of investigation back in January 2018, and I found that apparently there is the world's largest pyramid, called the Pyramid of the Sun, in Bosnia. Okay? And so if we look in a bit closer, now the interesting thing is the Nile Delta is here, Alexandria is down here, and somewhere over here is the Great Pyramids. So you got it on one side of the water here, and then right up here. Now, when you look at where the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun is, you've got Italy here, you've got Rome over here, you've got Constantinople as it was probably then, Turks, Ottomans, the Greeks all here, the Romans here. This is the center of power for the universe, according to the majority of the people that were living at the time here, and obviously Spain over here. So it's Age of Empires stuff going on here, and the Bosnian Pyramid seems to be basically slap in the middle of that. And if we go in a bit closer, you can see here the Bosnian Pyramid. Okay. Now, I thought, well, hold on a minute. I've actually been to this area a number of times. Actually, the first time I went to what was then Yugoslavia, I was 13, so that was some 37 years ago. And I actually went to Dubrovnik, which you might be aware of from the Game of Thrones series. And I have been to North Croatia, and I've been to Zagreb, and I've also been to Kosovo in the past. So I've kind of been a little bit around this area. And what struck me, obviously, because I was in the O-Day initial slide deck, I'd realized this kind of D4D structure of the Tesla's Wardenclyffe Tower. And it occurred to me that pretty much I was sure that Tesla lived in this area. So Tesla had a very high IQ, somewhere between 160 and 310, depending on how you're measuring it. But the first point I want to raise here is the fact that he was born in Smiljan in Croatia. Okay. Now, I know the Hungarians or the Austrians like to claim him because at that time, this was part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. But he was born in Croatia, in modern-day Croatia. Okay. I know the Serbians like to claim him because they see that part of Croatia as being part of Serbia. And yeah, but anyway, where he was born is Smiljan in Croatia, which was part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire at the time. Okay. So let's add that onto the map, and we have that Smiljan, Croatia, here is just 200 miles, if you're going to walk it, across the mountain range to the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun. So, like, if you were, wherever you are in the world, if you think, what is an important structure 200 miles from me? What's the most significant structure you can think of? Well, maybe, you have something as significant as what's claimed to be the largest pyramid on Earth. Maybe you don't. But you could have thought that, like, the cultural aspects and stuff of this area might have influenced Tesla. And then I found out that his father, and this was more recently, and this is why I led down this route, was an Orthodox priest. And he was also a gifted writer and poet, which means he's very, very creative. So there's lots I could talk about with respect to his family and upbringing. This has all been done to death. But what I think we learned by looking at the Coptic Christians is that they encoded the information extremely precisely. And the story of the Knights Templar was, as we found out, that at some point they protected these Coptic Christians, and then at some point they fled to Scotland, and from there, Scottish rights, the order shared the information with Italy and Scandinavia and the Russophile countries, but also that the knowledge was kept within the priesthood. And so the fact that Tesla's father was an Orthodox priest got me extremely, extremely interested. And so, so maybe Tesla was living and breathing this technology as he grew up. He was in this rich area, right in the middle of these former empires, and in the middle of one of the largest empire in the region, the Austro-Hungarian Empire at the time. Incredible things were being invented, and so forth. So, his father, Orthodox priest, I think that's a very, very significant waypoint. Then the other waypoint that I think to try and think about Tesla. Now, you see, Tesla claimed that he was, maybe receiving information from aliens. Well, maybe he was. Or maybe he was receiving them from his bloodline. As I've argued that your DNA effectively is like a cryptographic key. It's like your private key to your bloodline's knowledge in the Akashic record. And if that's the case, then wherever you've come from, you have access to that knowledge. So he might believe he's receiving information from aliens, but he might be receiving information that was laid into the Akashic record that he has very good access to, where normal people wouldn't. And, if you want to have this whole nature-nurture debate, like a baby is born without knowing anything, although they do know how to breathe, and they know how to suck, and they know how to, cry, and things like that. You're going to have to look at things like, I don't know, cows. I mean, they come out within a very short period of time. They're walking, and they're straight on to sucking milk, and they do what they need to do as a cow. But when you think about like something like an earthworm or a caterpillar, there's no caterpillar school, is there, to teach them to start chewing the leaf that they're sitting on, and there's no pupa school that when they emerge from the chrysalis teaches them to start flying and go and mate, is there? There's clearly innate knowledge. Okay, so we're essentially he's remembering or gaining access, in my view, to either his prior life or a bloodline, and it might seem like alien to him because the technology is so awesome. Okay, so one other interesting thing about Nikola Tesla is that I think at the turn of the the century, that's 1900, I think the average, or certainly in the First World War, the average height of Europeans, I think, was something like 5'1" or 5'2". I know this kind of, it's roughly that, don't quote me on it, but I know this because other than Holland, the Moravia area that I live in has some of the tallest people in the world as a kind of average height here in Brno and in the Moravian region. And as a result, during the Austro-Hungarian Empire, they actually drew battalions of fighting men from Moravia because they could get many, many people over 6 foot. So that would give them a huge fighting advantage. Now, where are these people, coming from? They generally breed to a, high height. Well, Tesla, unlike many of his scientific contemporaries, he was extremely tall. 6 feet and 2 inches, 1.88 meters. And so I thought, well, where are these people distributed that have this height, and why are they there? What caused them to be that? Well, there's a great paper, and I've given the link to it in this next slide. And this is about the mapping of the mountains of giants. And so this is the anthropometric data from the Western Balkans reveal a nucleus of extraordinary physical stature in Europe. Okay, so what you're looking at here is, this is Kosovo here, where I'm waving my mouse around. And you've got, so it's modern Kosovo, North Macedonia. Yeah, Skopje. This is Pristina. I've been to Skopje and Pristina. Been fortunate enough. Down here you have Dubrovnik. And, Dubrovnik's here, rather. And this is, Split is here. And Rijeka is up here. And what you can see, this whole region has people that, well, certainly this kind of area, are over 183 centimeters. Okay? On average. Mean height of young men. So there's a lot of tall people than that. This is the average. Okay? And down here, just to the west of Kosovo, in Albania, or this is Albania here, actually, just to the north of Albania, you have these people at 185 and above on average. Okay? So these are super, super tall people. Now, what else do we know about Nikola Tesla? Well, he had these distinctive features, and there's a lot of debate about, what these features are, but some people say they're Albanian, rather, and some people say they're Vlach, which is Dacian. Okay? So, before we go on, again, you got Albania here, so is it Albanian? I don't know. If he is Albanian, then he's very close, or in that region, then he's very close to the extremely tall people here. The people I know in Kosovo call themselves of Albanian origin. So he has these very, very distinctive features: Albanian, Vlach, rather, and Dacian. So first off, from this paper, there is another really good image that they have there, and it's this one. So you can see Romania up here, Bulgaria, Serbia. This is Kosovo here with Pristina, as I was just showing you there. This is Macedonia. Again, Albania comes up here. So sort of on the crossing point between the north of Albania, Kosovo, who consider themselves Albanian, and probably Montenegro would be of Albanian origin. So this was Greater Albania at one point, as far as I understand it. These extremely tall people in the now Montenegro part of what probably would have been the Greater Albania is, where the center point of these tall people are. And then there is this, and that right there is in this whole region here that they call the Dinaric Alps. The Dinaric Alps, okay? So so all of this black area here is the Dinaric Alps, okay? The dotted line here is the actual mountains themselves. So it's literally in the mountains where these super tall people are, you know, focused. So where, firstly, if we are to say that maybe he's Dacian, where is that? Well, so it's Romanian-Bulgarian border. Dacia is a region that was, it's a Roman region on the sort of Romanian-Moldovan border. So this is Romania. This is, well, it's not there anymore, but it's Moldova, somewhere around here. So this is the Dacia region. And if we go in closer, this is the Dacia region. So you can see I've got a spot here for where he was born, and this is where the Great Pyramid was. Now, there is an old image about the races in Europe, and this is on Wikipedia down here. And if you look here, the what they call the Arbrat or Dinaric, it's here. You can see it's the same kind of mountainous area, but also you can see it's up here north of this Dacia region. Okay, so there's a large area north, and there's a sort of northeast and then southwest of this Dacia region. Okay, and then there are odd pockets. So you've got pockets in Liechtenstein going maybe into Austria. You've got a pocket here in North Italy, all of North Italy. So like you've got the area of Venezia, of Milano, Verona, Padua, all the way down here, and also into Switzerland and into kind of like, you know, the area in Brittany here. These are kind of the areas that they're saying that the Dinaric, or I can't read that, it's Arbrat or something, but Dinaric is the one that I'm interested in. This isn't so clean to see here. But here's another image which you'll find easily online. And you can see that in this Montenegro, Kosovo, and northern current Albania, rather than greater Albania, the proportion of people that are Dinaric is in excess of 50%. Okay? So it almost doesn't matter where it is from here. And also, on the other side up here, there's another area where it's 50% greater than 50%. And you have this region in between, which I was referring to as Dacia earlier. Here, so Dacia is in between these two regions of extremely high Dinaric race. Okay? The other thing to note is that the extent of Dinaric race goes all the way through to the south of England. So you have Cardiff down here in Wales. You have obviously Londinium, London down here, and the ports. You have Paris. You have Barcelona. You have Rome. You know, it goes all the way down to, it doesn't go to the southern, very southern part of Italy, but one might imagine it's in Sardinia. Also down all the way through to the end of Greece, essentially, nearly, very, very nearly the end of Greece. Okay? Doesn't go into the Ottoman Empire, the Turk Empire. It goes all the way through Ukraine, Just the southern part of Crimea is not. So this is the extent, but you can see very, very, like at least 5 to 10% goes all the way through Switzerland and through Liechtenstein, through Western Austria, much of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, the whole of Slovakia, all of the Czech Republic, and so on. If one in southern Germany here, but in fact all of Germany has, 0 to 5% pretty much. Okay, so moving on. What did I do differently here? Did I do anything differently? No, that was meant to be a different slide. Okay, so I've kind of cleaned these points up, and I've given a couple of specifics here. So our birthplace of Tesla is here. The Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun is in the 35% plus dinaric area. Okay. The other 35% plus dinaric area is up here, and Dacia is in between. So it is very likely that he is dinaric. He looks dinaric. Certainly has these features that are one would expect. He certainly has the height of a dinaric person from the mountain giants. And it's because Dacia is in between these two regions of high dinaric concentration, then I would suggest he is likely of Albanian dinaric origin and mountain giant. Okay, and it makes sense that he understood his technology by seeing a snowball accreting mass and going down a mountain. That was his thing. Now, if you look at the dinaric skull with the sacred geometry, you can see it is a precise match in almost every aspect. So I've already shared these images before. So that being said, I felt that the region that we are seeing here might have some very, very important material in it. And so I have this belief that the ancient peoples encoded their most important information into artwork. And art would only persist in materials that have a long life. And if you wanted to promote an idea, what would be the thing that has a long life that many people would have exposure to, that you could encode the information on? What would you use? I'm asking you to give me an answer here. What would it be? Anyone got an answer? What thing could you put artwork on that would persist for a long period of time, people would not want to lose, and everyone would get to see it? Gold, good. Sculpture, maybe. Religion, possibly too. Stone also, yes. Close. Okay, I'm going to help you guys. We got rock, gold, stele, headstone, pass the information through your children. Great. Paintings, yes. What are these things that last a long time that lots of people would hold and treasure? What have I shown you at the start of this? What did I show you at the start of this? Yes, Terran Art. Gold coins. Gold coins. I showed you a gold coin that started my journey, didn't I? This gold coin with these very important symbols on them. Very, very important symbols on them. Okay? So I went to some numismatic sites, and I will try and find them in a moment. But if you look at this whole region that I am drawing your attention to, it is the powerhouse of trade for the planet at this time. You got the Egyptians, you got the Turks, the Ottoman Empire, you got the Greek Empire, you got the Prussian, you've got the Roman Empire, you've got the Spanish Empire, you've got the French Empire, blah, 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 whatever. There's a lot of very, very interesting things going on in this area. It's almost like the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun is in the center. But in the center between the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun And the Giza pyramid really is somewhere in the ocean here. But if you wanted a defensive position, it would be somewhere around here, which is in Greece. Okay, so I looked at coins, and firstly I'm just going to go and show you 2 coins, and then I'm going to try and pick up the websites, which are somewhere in the millions of tabs that I have in, and they've been there since a long time, a very long time, maybe the beginning of last year, but anyway, I don't know, a long time, so I might have difficulty finding them, but I have 2 images here, and one is this, and this is, I believe, it's referred to on the numismatic site as a thunderbolt. By the way, this is exactly the same representation of the fleur-de-lis as you have either side of the 1775 gate of number 10 Downing Street. It's basically exactly the same symbology. And I think this is, either... and we can look on the numismatic site if I can find it. But this is about somewhere between 600 BC and somewhere, maybe 380 BC. But we'll find out if we get to the site. So I'm just going to overlay the sacred geometry here. And there we go. So we have our little nodule in there. Now, you see this symbol, interestingly, anyway, we saw this symbol in other places, like in Hokkaido, in Sapporo. You see it in India. So on, it's like the weapon of the gods, because it is the gods' toolbox. So, but, I look through a lot. There are many, many, many representations of this. But on one particular series of coinage, they nailed it. They absolutely nailed it. You ready? You ready? Boom! There you go. This, my friends, is the mother ball lightning. Yes, it has the chi rho, but this is before John the Baptist had taught possibly Jesus, to fully decode the chi and the rho. So it doesn't have the rho on there, but it does have the center spots. Yes, it's the Vajra in Indian terminology. And if I play here the sacred geometry, it is absolutely precisely correct. Absolutely precisely correct. So, and you can also see it's got a bit of fractality. We have the 4 substructures around the outside and the alternating substructures. Okay? So this got me very, very excited. This actually is the coinage that was, this is a Macedonian coin. So if I go back to that map that actually has the countries in it in a legible sense here, it's Macedonia here. So, and Macedonia is kind of like this whole Albanian region. So if you had these people trading with these people and so on, like what is the extent of this coinage and what other places that are interesting around here? Well, I did a whole bunch of research and I came up to the conclusion that Delphi in Greece, which is about here where my mouse is kind of like halfway between the Bosnian Pyramid and the Great Pyramid of Egypt. And maybe I didn't know much about it, but I kind of got a sense I needed to go here. But I was looking at different things, and I came across. I started to think, well, other than coins, what else are having something very important on a coin like this is showing, you know, everyone else that you know how this works. You know how this works. This is the great, in my view, it's the total symbol of power. This symbol here, the Chi-Rho, the Christ. It's the one true way. And you must know that those that are in the knowledge will know that you know this science. You might not choose to use it, but you know it. And by presenting and projecting the fact that you have this knowledge, people might think twice about attacking you. But if they were to attack you, you might like to show in other ways that, you know this knowledge. Okay, strike fear into people. Now, other than coinage, what is that other way that governments project power? What do they do to enforce things? What would they use? Swords, very good. We'll see a sword in a different presentation artifact. Swords, yes. But, you know, it's not just about, you know, battle isn't just attack, is it? Shield, very good. Very good system automation. Shield. I thought, what is best to, you know, I've already shown you sword hilts from the Helsinki Museum in Finland, which have encoded the information precisely. Absolutely precisely. I used it one of the title slides for the Windhex update, a Windhex, and there's more to come on that, by the way. There will be another update imminently. I have to do some things in Germany in between. But anyway, shields. Bang on. Yes, shields. Okay. So I thought, let's have a look at some shields. And I got this. And I thought, you are bleep kidding me. What? What is this? And when I saw this, the one thing I could think of is this on the right. This on the right. It is the monopole. The ultimate system of power. Tool of power. Absolute ultimate power. It is this bit, the Sothic triangle coming down. As we've seen since, it is this bit coming down. Okay? It is, you know, here's an Ancient Aliens, but here's the sphere, and out of it there's a little hole, and things spew out. This is it in physical actuality, in my view, misinterpreted by the authors of Ancient Aliens Season 18, Episode 16. And yeah, so here we have the encoding of the auspicious symbol into this structure and this blue sphere around the outside. So that's what I saw. I saw this being the monopole, which I discussed previously. And that, for me, I thought, where is this from? Where is this from? It's from Delphi. Now, Delphi, as I learned when I was there, but I didn't really know until I got there, but I knew I had to go there. When I saw this shield, this is what's called a votive shield. This is an extreme piece of art that is buried with someone, and it's specifically to protect them from in the spirit world. It's got that level of importance. Okay? But this style of shield was important to all of these major empires, and it went all the way around. And the thing about Delphi here being kind of a great place between the Pyramid of the Sun and the Great Pyramid over here, as I understand it, having been there, they say that people would travel from all over the Mediterranean to visit the oracle at Delphi, and I said, Ret Oracle, your name was appropriate today. And they would, the Oracle would say who to go to battle with and who not to go to battle with. They would travel all this distance and, you know, just amazing. Just absolutely amazing. And so I had to go there, and I wanted to see if they had any coins. I wanted to see if they had any coins. That's my main reason. But the other reason is I knew that this, and this is my photo from the Delphi Museum. The photo that I could find on the web that was half decent was actually taken at an angle. And so I couldn't, you know, test the geometry. And I haven't actually had time to properly align it, but I'm going to do a little bit right now live in Photoshop. And you can see kind of what I'm getting at. I don't know where it's specifically going to go, but you'll get what I'm going for here, I think, maybe not. So here we go. That is our Delphi shield, our votive shield. I'll give you the proper name for it in a minute, and I'll show you a document talking about its distribution across Europe and its different variations. Okay? But here we go. It's a beautiful image, very, very high resolution here. It's partially reconstructed, so you can see where the original stuff is here and where it's failed here. And apparently they have deduced that something that goes around here, which I'll show you in an image in a minute because it's just madness. But I will first overlay the sacred geometry. Okay? So, as we know, the double layer of our ball lightning, okay, is the inner side of it comes to the bottom here when you have two of the circles pointed together. Okay, it's the Sothic triangle here, the Christ center, and so forth. Now, I don't know exactly the position here. I don't know whether the notch in the Sothic triangle is kind of represented by this bit here. It's not quite right. So I don't know whether I've got the position right because there is 3 double layers. So there's many positions I could put it in, and I just haven't had the time to fiddle about with it and make a decision. It might be that the final double layer out here is the actual real one. I don't know. But the fact that it is the angle of the Sothic triangle, and it has an extra notch down here, and it goes to the center point, essentially, where the gyro is to me, pretty stunning development. So for me, this was a no-brainer. Now, I need to go and find the image of the sketch of the votive shield. Okay, so here is the sketch of the votive shield. Here it is, if I get the right one. Okay, there we go. If I pull that down there, maybe? Okay. Okay, so here we go. This is the sketch of the votive shield. Now, one of the reasons I think it might be any one of these 3 things here, or these might be multiple double layers, is, if you can believe it, they have a double helix around in the center of these 2 bits here. So I'm saying that this is the inside of the double layer and this is the outside. So that is apparently what was on this, these kind of bits here, and these double layers, is this double helix here. Okay. Now, if you want to know, and I've done this before, but if you want to know how weird my life is sometimes, I had decided to go to Delphi. I had a mere 3 days in which I could do it reasonably. And I decided to take my beautiful wife, Kim, and the kids to give them a little bit of culture. But I had to go to Macedonia Airport in the northern Greece. It was the only place to get an affordable ticket. I had to hire a car, which was extremely cheap, and I drove 1,200 kilometers over 3 days to go down to Delphi and drove past Mount Olympus. And when I got back, I had a day's turnaround, and then I had to go and visit Mr. Matsumoto. And on planning for going through this, I ordered a cam link here. And this was so that I could have a small kit that I could record Dr. Matsumoto when I was with him. This was the plan. And obviously that didn't happen. But if I had not bought this, I could not have recorded his videos of his experiments, which you will see, and they will be part also of the conference presentation, at least one video at ICCF 25 in Szczecin in Poland. So I bought this, and when I went to go and pick this up, bearing in mind this is within 12 hours of me, well actually it's within about 6 hours of having to get on the bus to go to the airport in Vienna, to going down to Macedonia Airport. This got a little bit weird, because I am standing, having picked this up at the bus stop, sorry, the tram stop in Brno, and I'm waiting for the tram to come. It's taking a little bit a long time, and I'm running low on time, and I see this directly opposite where I'm standing. Okay? And you're thinking, Bob, what are you talking about? Well, the roof is interesting. It has these 4 little vortices with a central beam. I thought that was interesting. The gilded window frames were interesting, because we have these vertical type structures. Here's another nice one. Yes. These vertical structures. But really what got me was what I'm seeing here. And it's not a thing that's structural. It's these things here. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about these. These are gyros. Here's a close-up of it. So literally on the day that I'm getting ready to go, this is a cable in the way, by the way. It's not something on the building. I'm just getting ready to go to Delphi, few hours before I get on the bus, and there it is. Why were they putting these features onto the building? They are just an architectural feature. They're not something that is keeping the building upright. They're there for a reason. Whose reason? Don't know. Okay. So, I'm going to show a video now. So the other thing about Delphi is, I'm thinking it's like the center of this world. This the world as it was known then, the center of the world. And in fact, there is something there that they say is the center of the world. And I'm going to show you a video of it that I took when I was there.
So this is the omphalos. It's the sacred omphalos. It's meant to be the center of the earth. Is it the center of the sacred geometry? Who can say? But it does have, at least on this side, these vortical stripes, and it has these vertical striations on it. It's not carved, it is extremely regular in shape all the way around. It seems to be a little broken off at the top. And as you get to the top, you can see these striations going up. Striations all the way from the bottom to the top. Okay. Again, is this a helicoid? You've got something there and there's something that way. It's going the other way on the helicoid. But definitely you have the vertical marks on the top. It looks quite dense.
Okay, sorry. Yes, I was muted. Okay, so I'm going to get a picture, something about the omphalos here, for those that don't know what the omphalos is. But yes, according to legend, it was the start of the universe. And when I say I'm going to get the omphalos here, my computer's frozen completely because it is stupid hot in here. It's very, very hot here. Okay. Okay, let's see if this is going to work. Omphalos. Let's see if I can spell it correctly. Omphalos. Right. So I also have a picture of me. There is another omphalos that the Romans made, and they put on a very interesting tower. If I can get a picture of the tower for you, it's incredible. It's really incredible. I think it's showing the vortex that occurs with a tornado. So I'll see if I can find that for you. So here it is. The omphalos is a religious stone artifact. In ancient Greek, the word omphalos means navel. Among the ancient Greeks, it was a widespread belief that Delphi was the center of the world. According to the myths regarding the founding of the Delphic oracle, Zeus, in his attempt to locate the center of the earth, launched two eagles. I got two echo, sorry. Two eagles. Starting simultaneously and flying at equal speed, crossed their paths above the area of Delphi, and so was the place where Zeus placed the stone. Omphalos is also the name of the stone given to Cronus. In the ancient world of the Mediterranean, it was a powerful religious symbol. Omphalos syndrome, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So this is the Roman omphalos here, which is this interwoven spiral meshes. But the original omphalos is the one that I showed you, which is out in the Temple of Delphi. Like I say, I have a picture of that, and let me go and find that. Okay, so let's have a look here. There's so much from this place to share with you, and I'm not going to share it all today. I might pick some highlights. So. Just here's a curious little thing. This is the lamppost in Delphi. And the symbol of Delphi is this delta. Delta. And when I see the delta in this form, it really does look like the Sothic triangle. But what I'm arguing about the omphalos, the original omphalos, which... let me see if I can get this. The original omphalos here is that I believe that this is the top of the sphere of, the Sothic triangle type cone. If you look at the influence patterns on the birdies in the Russian work, they kind of have this top part of the profile. It doesn't come to a hard point, because at this point it's basically matter collapses and matter is being pulled into here, and this is kind of the real curve of it, rather than the actual pictographic kind of triangular sense to it. Now I'm going to try and find this document here. I'm going to go less ordered this particular part of the presentation, because I'm going to find, so that I don't forget it, something which I referred to earlier, and I haven't shown you yet. So where is that? Give me a sec. Oh my god, I'm burning up. I'm literally burning up. So, first up is this document here by one Claes Una, and it's Rock, Art and Metal Trade. So some petroglyphs talking about these different areas, and this is a map showing the major sources of copper and tin that survived, that supplied Scandinavia with metal in the Bronze Age. Copper deposits are marked with yellow stripes, while sources of tin are marked with silver. So you can see basically tin came from Cornwall, and Cornwall, or this part of Devon here, was the extent of the Dinaric people. Cyprus was a big place for this sort of stuff. I saw some mines there. Sardinia. And down here, right next to where you have Delphi, you have a source of copper. Okay? These are some of the forged axe type things that you see, and they are not too dissimilar from the Ukonafasara, which is obviously close to Sweden, in Finland. And you can see various axes. Also, apparently on Stonehenge, it's decorated with these, what look like, in my view, Ukonophosaurus. I have to say, they do look like these birdies. Yep. We have one of these boats as well, and two Ukonophosaurus, or two birdies, coming towards each other. Okay. But this I found very interesting. I had no idea until I looked at this document that these were marked onto Stonehenge. Okay. Going down here, we've got other sort of petroglyphs and stuff. These are ingots from Crete. And so forth. And then we've got our men that people like to talk about a lot in this space. Yeah. Are these Vikings? Are they just Vikings? Or did Vikings be like this because of you know what? All right. These here are very interesting to me. These are meant to be shields. Chariots. Iberian on this side and Scandinavian depictions of chariots. Bring me my bow of burning gold. Bring me my chariot of fire. So these look more like Evo structures to me. They're about the right shape, aren't they? You got your two vortices, the central bit, and the stuff coming up. Yes, they do look like chariots as well. A lot of things look like runes in Scandinavia at this time, to be fair. Okay. So a whole load of different markings here, blah, 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 blah. Now, here we go for our votive shields. So this is from Portugal, iconographic expression of a pan-European warrior symbolism. The Ervidel 2 stele from Baixo Alimenteo, Portugal. Okay. So we have our votive shield here, very similar to the one that you saw. And here it is. These are the trade pathways from Cyprus to southern Greece, through to Sardinia, to Spain, and all the way up to Scandinavia. These are the paths, and through Europe here. Okay? And somewhere in this document, it has something about the votive shields. Maybe I got it wrong, but anyway. Yeah. I thought it was in here. It's a different document. I've got it somewhere. Anyway, let me see if I can find what these things are called. The Delphic shield. And then we'll have to go into... Where is it? Let me find it. I shouldn't be doing this now. How is everyone? Yeah, so the votive shield here, this is an image of it, was from 700 BC. And why can't I find this document? It's a real shame because the document I'm looking for has many. Oh, it might be. This is the one. I've got it. Come on. Why can't I download that now? I downloaded it earlier today. Where is it? Oh dear. Sorry. Apologies. Not that one. Not that one. No. Okay. The document I want to get you is this one. It's called European Bronze Age Symbols in Prehistoric Greece. Okay, and you'll see that versions of this shield okay, I'm going to do it like this. My. Okay, I've got it. Okay. It's not my usual quality of giving stuff. No, this one here. Okay, all right. Okay, all right. So, Barry Moley, European Bronze Age symbols in prehistoric Greece. So, reconsidering bronze shields and spears from Delphi in their wider context. So, here's Delphi. Those that don't know, and you've got the Cyprus over here. So here's another version of this shield. Here's the one that you've seen in stupidly good quality. And you see as it goes around and it's used by different cultures, it has slightly different variations, but it always keeps this little notch. So I think this is like a Roman one. C, maybe I'm wrong. This is from Pilsen in the Czech Republic. This is what they call them Hersprung shields after the first one that was found. So, and where can we find it? Maybe this isn't the document. Oh, right. I did a whole bunch of research on this, and you're not going to see it today. But anyway, there we go. They're all over Europe, and the Roman ones, if you can look at Hersprung shields, it's probably, let's do a search on that. Let me do a search on Hersprung shields. That's kind of what they're called, Hersprung shields. Maybe we'll have better luck. Okay, so here is a kind of like, I think this is a kind of different type of one here. There we go. Okay. More like the Roman type. So they kind of appropriated it. Yeah. Anyway. You've got things coming through these 3 layers to the center. You get the idea. And here's your sword hilts with your vortices on it. So yeah, it's on the swords as well. So the aspects of the technology are there, in my view. Okay, all right, that's enough of that. I will see if I can find the coins. If not, I'll put the references to the coins in the blog. Okay, so I found the coin site, or one of the pages of the coin site. Anything else? So the numismatic site you need to go to essentially is called Wild Winds. Okay, and you can see a whole bunch of different coins here. Look, we've got our 6-pointed vortex with our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ring spots around it with your double layers. This ring spot vortex in the center with your double layer. Yeah. And what do they say here? This is from Macedonia. This is 187 to 168 BC. Macedonian shield style with star formed by 6 crescents in the center. Okay. What else we got? Here's another one with your 6 half structures around the center. To me, these imply that it's kind of like the other orientation. Okay. Here's the coin that I was referring you to here earlier. Both sides of it. Okay. And to a degree, this looks a lot like the omphalos here. But it's actually a hat of the kind of region. These are like felt hats that they make in the region. But are the hats a symbol? Anyway, that's that one. And so what does it say about this? It says here, Macedonia, again, 325 to 310 BC. Macedonian shield. So this is actually, it's actually a symbol of a shield on the coinage, with thunderbolt between 2 dots in the center. With thunderbolt between 2 dots in the center. Surrounded by 5 crescents. 5 crescents, I would say 4. With 5 dots between each. I think that's 4 and 4, actually, my friend. I count 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, definitely 4, but okay. Now, this is interesting because what you're seeing here, with a similar type of structure here, this is the caduceus. This is the symbol of transport and trade. This is the symbol of caduceus. Of course, we have the caduceus vortex. So on one, you actually have the upper part of the structure of the ball lightning. And then on the other one, you have the beam that comes out of it. Okay, so maybe it says that. I don't know whether it says that on that one. Does it say that? It says Macedonia 323 to 301. Macedonian shield with caduceus in the center, surrounded by 5 double crescents. With 3 dots between each. Macedonian helmet. Yeah, so it's a Macedonian helmet. I was right about that. With ear flaps, rows, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Again, caduceus in lower right. So this is the symbol of trade and transportation, caduceus. And I'm arguing, and have argued, that that is the caduceus spiral that comes out of the ball lightning structure. So this to me is a look at ball lightning from the top, and it is a symbol of a shield. This is kind of a different orientation. So this isn't showing the vortex. This is showing the Chi-Rho, but without the rho, because this is pre-Christ decoding it via probably John the Baptist, but it does have the center spot. So this is one of the most accurate you can find. You can actually find the Chi-Rho without the spots on other coins. You can even get some like this on eBay. So here's one, again, with the Chi-Rho, but less precisely designed. Again, it says here, Macedonia, 325 to 310 BC, Macedonian shield with thunderbolt in the center. Okay? So it is thunderbolt. Here is a different one, which looks more like your Vajra. Okay? The Vajra symbol. Okay, and this says here, Macedonia, 323 to 310 BC, Macedonian shield with thunderbolt in the center. Okay? And 5 double crescents. So, here's another one with the Vajra, not so well rendered this time. Macedonian shield with thunderbolt in the center. So the Vajra, again, here's one very poorly made. Thunderbolt in the center. Here, another one. More like a Vajra. Shield with thunderbolt in the center. Okay, thunderbolt in the center. And there was an Alexander the Great. Where did he go? Did he go to northern India? Maybe he went to northern India. This one's rather nice. Ring spot with another couple of layers, a bit like our votive shield. Again, these are shields, but done into coins. Macedonian shield with dot in 3 circles in the center, surrounded by 5 double crescents. Okay, another one with a caduceus spiral, symbol of trade. So back then, in my view, they were representing directly the technology. Now, are they just trying to preserve it? Did they really understand? This one, again, is the Chiro with the 2 spots. So it's another example. But for me, the most accurate one I saw here, I mean, here's another one, but it's not right. The most accurate one is the one that I showed you first up here. Not that one from the top. It's the one that I have in my slide here. There we go. All right. Oh, yes, Corky, you really do have a boom coming here. Yes, you're right. He's ahead of everyone. Okay. Right. I have so much material from Delphi to share with you. So much. So it's going to take a lot of work to go through these different things. I will include the link to the Bronze Age symbols and also to the coins. But what am I referring to here in my little way? I think we'll probably close out with this. Yeah. So what happened was I was preparing a presentation for you guys, actually, on the last evening I was in Delphi. And I said to the children, I said, here's a budget. Go downstairs and buy something. Yeah? Get something for yourself. And I did the work for you guys for 2 or 3 hours, and then they came back and said, we know what we want, Dad. We know what we want. They said, these really, really little cool miniature owls. I thought, owls? Well, that's nice, isn't it? I wonder why they got owls here. And these 2 little guys, this one was the one that my daughter chose, and my son chose the little black one. This is in alabaster, and this is in bronze, as it would be. And it actually says Athens on here in Greek. It's sort of embossed into the cast metal. And so, you know what? I went downstairs and they said, we want those. I said, seriously, you want owls? You want owls? Yeah, we want owls. Now, whatever. I went into the shop. I said, my kids, they really like these owls. Can we have a look? So they look at them. And I said, so what's the significance of owls, right, in Delphi? And the woman in the shop says, what? I said, why so many owls in Delphi? They go, well, that's the symbol of Delphi. I go, oh, God. Stupid Bob. It's the symbol of Delphi. Of course, it would be the symbol of Delphi. Why is that interesting? Well, because, of course, it's in the sacred geometry, isn't it? It's in the sacred geometry. It is, if I lose the thing here, the owl is this bit. You got your 2 eyes here, and then you have the golden ratio lines, and that's the bottom of the beak. And that is the owl. That is the owl. Okay? It's also on the votive shield. Okay, it would be. Right, okay. So, feeling a little bit embarrassed, I thought, well, they're getting 2 owls. That's really cool. It's the sacred geometry. I said, is there anything else that's like I should know about symbology, about Delphi? Like what is the most important symbols other than the owls? They said, well, it would be this. And I'll find something like she showed me. She showed me something like this. In fact, a whole collection of things a bit like this. She showed me this. And this, and this, and this. And I said, I'm sorry, but like, have you got anything where these are actually perfect circles and this line doesn't go out longer? Because it shouldn't do that. They had lots of symbols that look like this, which look like a Vajra, right? But I said, this isn't correct. It shouldn't be like this. You should have a perfect curve here, a perfect curve here. They should meet here and here. The center line's fine, but the center line shouldn't really go much higher than the curvature of here. And it should be from the center of here to the center of here. And I said, what is this? He said, this is the double epsilon, right? Okay. Okay. All right. So this is, I didn't find any coins in that museum. I did actually go to another museum. That'll be another presentation. I've got unbelievable amounts of material. It is a incredibly special place, Delphi. Incredibly. If you ever get a chance to go there, you must go there, right? It was worth driving those miles and being tired for so long to go there to get this. So I said, you've got to have something. So there was many things that they had in the shop, and all of them were wrong. And I said, let me see if I can find you what it should look like. Okay? So I had a look. And this is what I found. It's just on Google image search. This is what I found. I said, that there, that is what it should look like. Right? So, bearing in mind, I already showed you what the double epsilon effectively here. This is how you would represent it, because this is a vortex. This is the ring in the center that is represented by the two spots here. Yeah. When it's showing, where is it gone now? Why does it do that? This. I said, you've got the curve here and the curve here, and this is the line through the middle. Okay, so this is that loop there. This is that loop here. This is the vortex that comes through the middle, but that flux of chi is caused by this vortex, and you're just seeing this end on, because this is a slice through the whole structure. It's a slice through the whole structure. But if you are kind of representing it in slightly more 3D, it is correct to have a straight line, but it has to go to halfway along here. So I said to them, it has to be, and can only be, the correct way to represent this has to be this particular way of showing it, which I've got somewhere. Did it go now? Oh no. Oh dear, I've lost it again. Okay, this one, like I just had. Right, this one. That, I said, is what we need to be looking at here. Okay? All right. So I thought, well, you know, okay, what is this image? What is this image? Because it it appeared to be on Wikipedia. And I went to the Wikipedia article when I got back to the apartment. Very disappointed that I couldn't find this symbol that I could buy from Delphi, it being the symbol of Delphi. As you can see here, the Delphic epsilon is the double epsilon, the Delphic epsilon is the purported symbol of Epsilon Team. I thought, what is Epsilon Team? What is Epsilon Team? Okay, so here we go on Wikipedia. The Epsilon Team, Greek, blah, 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 Omada Epsilon, is an alleged secret society. Okay, secret society, okay. Appears in Greek modern folklore. Conspiracy theories, oh dear, they mustn't want this to be talked about. Ufology. The team was first described in a 1977 book and supposedly consists of prominent Greek people who possess secret knowledge of extraterrestrial origin. Boom! What? Are you serious? This is the symbol they choose from Delphi. I had no idea was the symbol of Delphi. Is the symbol that they choose as a secret society from this region where these people that birthed Tesla came from. The center of the universe that was this omphalos, which is the shape it needs to be, the original omphalos. And they're saying they're choosing this for their... Okay. And of course, here we go. Beginning in the 1980s, literature about the society became infused with anti-Semitic conspiracy theories, right? So people writing about the Epsilon Team started to say there was some anti-Semitic conspiracy theories going on about this. And the Epsilon Team is in a cosmic battle against the Jews. The body of beliefs related to an Epsilon Team has been labeled Epsilonism, and those subscribed have been called Epsilonists. Okay? Whatever. Do you see how weird that was? Before I go, I see that chiro on the building when I'm picking up this. Okay? Why do I see it? I see it because I'm going to Delphi because I saw it on the coins. And the coins are representations of shields. The shields that have this precise geometry on it, represented in various ways. One, the thunderbolt, the caduceus spiral, and the votive shield, which is the monopole. So I'm going to Delphi. I see it on the side of the building. I know I'm doing the right thing. I get there and my children choose to find for their gifts 2 owls. 2 owls. 2 birds. Which are the sacred geometry. And I go down and I say, okay, cool. Let's see what you want. There's 2 owls. And they tell me this symbol is the symbol of Delphi. This symbol that they showed me, which is not the symbol of Delphi, these rubbish ones. Anyway, the rubbish ones, which look a bit like Vrajra and so on. Okay, because if you extend this out, if you just stretch this, it is Vrajra, isn't it? It's like, if you just stretch that out, it is Vrajra. But the Vrajra is not properly represented. Okay, this is the correct representation, and I would argue actually that probably the one that's on the this is even better. This is even better. It's more accurate because if you were to take a slice through the structure, this tells you everything you need to know. You have your double there, you have your vortex cores here, you have the vortex cores that you're seeing a slice through the half of it there, and you have the resultant vortex center going through the middle. It creates the monopole. The monopole is this. That is the sacred geometry. It is what's running the pyramid. It is what is causing this. Maybe you could call it panspermia. I call it like it is, you know, this is the same thing. It's just poorly represented. Okay, this is what's on the 1775 front of the Downing Street. Okay? It relates back to all of this. Okay? Nikola Tesla was born in a place very close to the largest pyramid on Earth, apparently, where this was felt to be important on this coinage. All of the symbols, the major symbols of this technology. His father would have been privy to this knowledge, or certainly had an opportunity as a priest, because the knowledge was passed through the priesthood. Okay? So he was living in the right place with the right kind of lineage. He has this, location and this giant, and I don't know what's going on with that whole thing, but I believe that the people who knew this, so the argument about Epsilon Team, effectively, is that they're both off planet, and the people in that believed they were in a cosmic time eternal battle with other species. So that is the conspiracy theory that was laid onto the Epsilon Team. But I cannot argue that this is the technology. So that was Boom 1. It is represented in these Hersprung shields as the monopole, which is the represented here in this fractal level as the auspicious symbol. It is what's driving the pyramid, and it is what does this in nature. It is the ultimate power, and it is in our faces, and it's perfectly in our skulls. This has been a very weird journey for me. A very, very weird journey. If you have any questions, now would be the time to ask them. I will put more references in that I've just missed, and they are abundant in this particular presentation. I have a whole bunch of links to Epsilon Team. There's not much out there actually that you can read, but that's probably because it's a secret society, right? Probably secret societies are not wanting everything that they know to be public, and this one took a lot of flack. But for me, this is the real winner here. This meant for me, when I saw this and I saw this, I had to go to Delphi. I had to go to Delphi. I had to understand why. And Delphi is the center of the universe, as far as you can see, if you consider the whole of the Mediterranean here, and the fact between the Bosnia Pyramid of the Sun and the Pyramid at Giza, it's kind of basically in the center, on a line almost through them. Anyway, there we go. That's my hypothesis. Right. Yes, it's the ultimate weapon, Paul O'Neill. When will I go to the Bosnian pyramids? I don't know. I've got so much work to do, things to get done this summer, and it all costs money. So I will be going to visit one of your colleagues here in the chat in Germany, and it is confirmed that he has the exact model of little robot from looking for heat that was constructed and designed around the time that Lion Acc Neil Gould bought the original one. So I believe that has the best chance of replicating Neil Gould's Lion reactors. We have the actual fuel prepared by Neil Gould, and what I'm going to do is go and see what status of it is, document it, and take a setup to hopefully Artifact will be able to integrate a T7 Pro, and at some point later we will run the experiment. So yeah, and this is not an artistic. I know what you're saying, but this is beautifully accurate. You know, the other coins were not made as beautiful as this, but this is the double epsilon. Now, I've got one more boom for you. I've got a bonus boom today. Why not? I only actually found this out today by looking at someone talking about epsilon, double epsilon. Because apparently, let me actually find the quote. Let me see if I can find it. Oh dear. Such a mess of slides. Where are we? Okay, so. Ah, dear. How it all comes together. So this is a blog, which I'll give the link to, on Epsilon Team. And it says here, Dan Brown, writer of the Da Vinci Code, which was a misinformation, which was terrible, really, to be honest, would probably run a new series of novels if he probed behind the myth and or reality of Epsilon's secret society, otherwise known in Greece as Armada Epsilon or the Epsilon Team. Armada Epsilon's symbol is the Delphic Epsilon, two E's connected back to back and supposedly appearing in ancient Greek and Inca monuments. Okay? Some researchers claim that the symbol has also been seen on UFOs. But wait, that would mean that we have actually seen a UFO, right? Well, alleged reports from eyewitness accounts in the 1940s incident in Roswell claimed that on the debris salvaged from the apparent UFO crash were the words, "this," which means freedom. What if this group does indeed exist? Is it based on other secret societies such as the Freemasons, Illuminati, or even the Bilderberg Group? Legend or not, myth or fact, today we open the X-Files on the Armada Epsilon. This is one of the closest kept secrets from the public eye. Many people or mainstream media have attempted to address the issue, but were quickly silenced, and the topic or anything revolving around them was swept under the carpet. You will notice that there is extremely very little known of this group, though the internet or books on the mainstream media, and through the internet or books on mainstream media, and yes, they are on a contact-based coordination with NASA. Politicians have no direct contact with this organization. The members will never identify themselves, and if there is some form of leak, they tend to laugh at the conspiracy that even such organization exists. You know, would there ever be a president that would go sailing in the Greek islands? I don't know. So, what is this society about? What is its purpose and its origins? Do such exceptional Helens actually exist? And if yes, why have they not come forward? Why do believers claim that members of Armada Epsilon have advanced knowledge of secret technology that is so great that it can safeguard Greece and the world from threats? Are their minds so advanced that they are able to telepathically converse with aliens? Or are they just a gifted group of intellectuals that have aptitude to understand codes and writings inscribed on ancient ruins that are not commonly understood by man using the gift of Hellenic mythology? Better yet, is this whole story just another tale that was passed down from generation to generation, so we, the Greek people, can feel safer knowing that this unique circle of Hellenes will surface when we are at harm's way in order to protect us and stand up for Hellenism? I will try to answer all of these questions, but please keep in mind that this subject is so controversial that it cannot be tackled in one... Okay, blah, blah, blah. You can go and read this. I will provide the link if you can't find it yourself. So, yeah. The Greeks have Epsilon's Supreme Council on Mount Athos, Orthodox version. Oh, it's Orthodox Christian. Interesting. Interesting. Wasn't Tesla's father an Orthodox priest? Anyway, at the monastery of Vatopedi, and every year a group of illustrious brothers of the United Grand Lodge in England, go there for a special summit, including Prince Charles. Don't forget his father is Greek and baptized Orthodox. So Orthodox guys know this. Okay, alright, fine. The group apparently practices in secret old pagan rituals, much like they did in ancient Delphi. Some say this Armada Epsilon a coincidence? Yes, Jackie Onassis. Yes, very good. Yeah, so it's blah, 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 blah. Right, I think you need to hear that Greeks are higher than other nations because their DNA is different, much like their skeleton, which they say implies that the Greeks are reclassified not like another mankind. They hold of the messianic remarks by affirming that Syrians or the Armada Epsilon will come to save Greece. Well, obviously this is old. They represent myths and legends, blah, 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 blah. So obviously, whatever. You can read this. You can read what you want. But I'm interested in this bit here. Well, alleged reports from eyewitness accounts in the 1940s incident in Roswell claim that on the debris salvaged from the apparent UFO crash were the words, "This," which means freedom. Okay? Right. This, boom, is Tom DeLonge. This apparently, according to Tom DeLonge, and the wreckage had Greek symbols on it. It spelled freedom. And then we have a double epsilon here and a double epsilon here. Just saying. Now, what happened to Tom DeLonge? Wasn't he like in with a lot of UFO people and he kind of got them out of the woodwork and then tried to get it released and then disappeared? Oh dear, there we go. So this apparently is what was on the crashed UFO. And we have a double epsilon here and a double epsilon here. Correctly proportioned, by the way. It has the thing and, you know, it's not very clear, I have to say, but it doesn't have this extending out. It doesn't have the two sides of the E's going too far. Okay, there we go. I think I'll probably leave it at that. But there we go. That is my journey in a incredibly small nutshell to an amazing set of circumstances where I knew I had to go. It was because of this particular Chiro type structure. Saw it on the building before I left. And go there and find out that it is the symbol of Delphi. And there's a secret society that use this symbol and they believe that they have secret knowledge of extraterrestrial origin. So I therefore am saying that when I said at the beginning, O'Day E.T.'s secret, I am very, very, very firmly in the position, unless someone can convince me of a wholly different structured universe, that the sacred geometry is the secret, the great secret. It is God's toolbox. It is the Vajra when it's stretched and distorted, but it is ball lightning. Ball lightning is the secret to all hidden technology. That's kind of basically it, really. That's all I want to say. I have many things to share, which are just beautiful from my museum visits in those 2 days in Delphi and surrounding area. The region, there are trees in Greece and possibly even in the flat area that goes out to the port in Delphi that are producing olive oil. And they're the same trees that were there when Jesus was alive. And because there was trading, if you had olive oil in the Middle East at that time, it's quite likely or quite possible that you would have got olive oil from the same trees you can have olive oil from now. And in fact, there are even olive trees that are old enough and still bearing fruit to have been around at the time that so-called the pyramid was thought to have been built, the Great Pyramid of Giza. Of course, we have a different potential thinking on that. So, yeah, exactly the same trees. Like, I think there's some trees that are 5,500 or 6,000 years old and still producing olive oil. So you can literally have olive oil from the same olive trees around Delphi that were consumed by the people of the Bible. Okay, so I'm going to see if you've got any questions here. No, 4,500 years. No, I think the oldest tree is like 5,500 or 6,500 years ago. I think it's on the island of Crete, actually. It's a fairly big tree. Really, for me, I almost don't need to see any more. The Delphic epsilon, but properly encoded in these pre-Christian coins here. And these pre-Christian votive shields are the monopole, and it is ball lightning. Ball lightning is the monopole. We know it is, we know it is, we know it is. Therefore, this would be the symbol of power to see you through the spiritual world, and it would be the symbol of power that you would want to have in some form or other on your shields, or shields as represented as coinage. And through the money, you are effectively projecting your power and control. They worship the owl at Bohemian Grove. Well, I don't know whether they do. They certainly, I understand, have an owl there. Yeah. Thank you for your kind words, Bernie. So someone's just written something. The mysterious connection between owls and UFO contact. Okay. You know, in the house that I live in, Brno, right? In where I live, above the door, above the door is an owl. It looks down on me every time I enter and exit the house that I live in. When I was a kid, my nan, who's had a relative who was a priest, and I had to bury her a few hundred meters on Ilkley Moor, her ashes. I interned her ashes on Ilkley Moor, a few hundred meters from the stone carving of the auspicious symbol from the ancient pagan peoples of Europe that believed that this is the way the sun worked. The same ones that are in northern Italy that I included on my Sochi presentation from October the 4th, 2018. And she would send me and my siblings out in the autumn to go and collect fir cones. And she would repeatedly teach us how to make owls out of fir cones. And if you look at the plumage on owls and the shape of a fir cone, it kind of looks right. So I grew up regularly making these little decorative owls from fir cones. Cones and owls. Cones and owls. Go and look on YouTube. Or not on YouTube, on Etsy.com or something. Whatever, for fir cone owls. It's really easy to do. It's fun. But, yeah. Standish, it's a pleasure. I've been wanting to do this presentation, itching to do it. So if you go and look at my commentary when I arrived in Hokkaido, everywhere I went, this is like just a few days after leaving Delphi, everywhere I went there was owls staring at me. The first restaurant we went into, and then I found out that the owls were the symbol of the native people that were got rid of by the samurais about 450 years ago. The other symbol that they used on their battle cries, on their battle like headbands and stuff, was the Vajra, which is the ball lightning. It is very weird to, within a few days, have seen it in the Czech Republic, have seen it in Delphi, and then have seen it in the Aboriginal peoples of artwork and artifacts in the northern Japanese island of Hokkaido. Euro sign looks sus now. Well, it's 2 dashes across. No, it's not. Okay, I'll just see if you've got any questions. Otherwise, I'm going to call it a night. Thank you for your time. But basically, I believe Lena is this, and much more. And clearly, some people in ancient times knew about this. They knew that it could be created with anything that forms coherence, and really that is standing waves, as sound. And charged particles, basically sound and some form of charge separation, vibration, ion acoustic waves, basically, but ion acoustic standing waves leads to the coherence, and you know, if you get enough energy, you can force the matter to separate properly, proper charge separation, and then you can start to create these from etheric matter. And that's when it gets really funky. Okay, yeah. Starfish Trooper says we have questions after processing this. Yes, I know it's a lot to take in. And I believe me, I've probably got 50 or 60 web tabs that I, when I was researching this, maybe end of last year or the beginning of this year, I was just, well, maybe it was some of this was middle of last year that kind of led me down this pathway. It's a long time ago that I made the connection to this and the fact that I basically had to go to Delphi. I had no choice, yeah. So, I mean, it might be that what they're saying in this 1977 work is that they've always had this secret knowledge, and it would appear to be in the Orthodox Christian Church, and Tesla's father was an Orthodox Christian. Just saying, just saying. And is 1932 or whatever it is, weapon to end all wars imagery, as we have shown, is exactly showing that he knew precisely what this was. Precisely, not guesswork. He literally showed the power of the gods in the things that he chose to include in that image. And no one has decoded that. No one has decoded that. It was already there in the record of the Coptic Christian artwork. You just had to look. You just had to look. It's there here in this. It's there here in this. Okay. All right, so I'm going to say good night. Thank you very much for your time. This was Ode ET Secret. I believe that this is ET Secret. I have another presentation from Japan to share with you what happened a few days later. Very, very amazing and spooky. It's going to be a separate presentation, but you will know that this is ET Secret. Okay? And it was there. It was there. It was employed in this device. It's clear signs both in Bosnia and in India that they knew about this. It's very clear to me that the bloodline of Tesla enabled him to either have direct access through the Akashic record to this knowledge, or he might have been taught by his Orthodox Christian priest father, because the information was carried through the priesthood. Either way, it's not surprising that he gained access to ET's secret. And he tried to give it to the world. ET's secret is in his face and in the geometry of the Denaric skull. You know, it is in their shield queen representation. It is the monopole. That is the monopole. This is the thing that does the magic. There is a left and right version. One is the yin, one is the yang. And you get kind of both in a pyramid. But ultimately, you have to choose which one you are putting down in order to do your work. And it occurs in nature. This is not alien panspermia. This is the great power. This is the God's toolbox. This is the flower of life, the fleur de lis. It is the God's toolbox. We are at the new dawn of an old age. Thank you very much. Buenas noches, dobro noc. Good night.